The mood around London Colney felt especially focused the morning after Arsenal's Champions League battle in Germany. The players returned from their trip to face Bayer Leverkusen knowing the job in Europe was only half done. A tense first-leg draw in the UEFA Champions League had kept the tie perfectly balanced, but there was no time to dwell on it. Waiting just a few days later was another demanding challenge in the Premier League against Everton, and that meant recovery quickly shifted into preparation. When the squad arrived at the training ground early in the morning, there was a quiet but determined energy surrounding the facility. These are the moments in a season when elite teams separate themselves from the rest. European knockout football requires mental toughness, and Arsenal's coaching staff understood that the ability to reset quickly would be critical ahead of the weekend fixture. Head coach Mikel Arteta arrived at the training pitch earlier than most of the players, accompanied by several members of his backroom staff. The manager spent several minutes studying tactical notes and speaking with his assistants about the adjustments needed after the draw in Germany. The match against Leverkusen had been intense, physically draining and tactically demanding, yet Arteta's focus had already shifted toward Everton and the different challenge they would bring. The players began filtering onto the training pitch shortly afterward. Some of them still looked slightly fatigued from the Champions League clash, but that is normal during this stage of the campaign. Matches come thick and fast, and the best teams learn how to manage both fatigue and expectation. One of the first players out onto the pitch was Declan Rice. The midfielder has become a leader within the squad, not just during matches, but also in training sessions. Rice often sets the tone for intensity and professionalism, and as he began his warm-up routine alongside several teammates, it was clear that he was determined to maintain the team's momentum heading into the Everton match. Shortly afterwards, several more key players joined him on the grass. Bukayo Saka walked out laughing with Gabriel Martinelli, both attackers, discussing moments from the previous night's match. Despite the draw, there was a sense that Arsenal had gained valuable confidence from their performance in Germany. Defensively, Arsenal had looked relatively solid against Leverkusen, particularly after the return of William Saliba to the starting lineup. Saliba's calm presence had once again reinforced how important he is to Arsenal's defensive structure. Seeing him fully involved in training the next morning was another encouraging sign for Arteta. The early portion of the session was focused primarily on recovery and mobility work. Arsenal's fitness coaches led the squad through a series of stretching drills designed to loosen muscles after the intense European match. Players moved through light jogging circuits before transitioning into small passing exercises designed to restore rhythm and touch. Goalkeeper David Raya worked separately with the club's goalkeeping coaches for the first part of the session. Raya had made several important saves during the match in Germany, and maintaining sharp reflexes ahead of the Everton game would be crucial. As the warm-up phase progressed, Arteta gathered the players in a brief tactical huddle. The manager spoke calmly but firmly, reminding the squad that the season was entering one of its most decisive periods. The Champions League tie against Leverkusen was still wide open, but domestic performances could not slip if Arsenal wanted to maintain their ambitions in the league. Arteta emphasised that Everton would present a completely different type of opponent compared with Leverkusen. While the German side rely heavily on fluid attacking patterns and quick transitions, Everton are known for their physical approach, defensive resilience, and willingness to disrupt rhythm. For players like Rice and Martin Zubimendi, that meant preparing for a midfield battle that would likely be far more combative than the Champions League encounter. Winning second balls, maintaining composure under pressure, and controlling tempo would all be vital components of Arsenal's strategy. The training session soon transitioned into positional drills. Defenders worked closely with Arteta's assistant coaches to refine their spacing and communication when dealing with aerial crosses and long balls, scenarios that Everton frequently exploit. Saliba partnered with Gabriel Magalhaes during these drills, rehearsing defensive movements designed to maintain the team's shape, even when under heavy pressure inside their own penalty area. Both defenders displayed the calmness and authority that have made them one of the most reliable partnerships in the league. Meanwhile, the attacking players moved to a separate section of the training pitch to work on quick combination play around the penalty box. Saka and Martinelli repeatedly practiced rapid 1-2 passes designed to break defensive lines. These drills are particularly important when preparing to face a team like Everton, who often defend deep and attempt to limit space between their defensive and midfield lines. Breaking down such structures requires patience, technical precision, and intelligent movement off the ball. During one particularly impressive sequence, Saka delivered a perfectly weighted cross that allowed Martinelli to finish with a powerful first-time strike into the top corner of the training goal. The moment drew applause from teammates watching nearby. Striker Victor Gyökeres also looked sharp during the attacking drills. The forward's physical presence provides Arsenal with a different type of threat compared with previous seasons. His ability to hold up the ball and bring teammates into play has already become a valuable weapon in Arteta's system. Gyökeres spent several minutes working closely with the coaching staff on positioning during set-piece scenarios. Everton are traditionally strong when defending aerial deliveries, meaning Arsenal will need carefully rehearsed routines if they hope to create scoring opportunities from corners and free kicks. As the session progressed, Arteta introduced small-sided training matches designed to simulate matchday conditions. These intense mini-games allow players to replicate the tempo and decision-making required during competitive fixtures. Rice dominated several midfield duels during these matches, demonstrating the type of authority that has made him such an important figure for Arsenal this season. Zubimendi complemented him well, frequently intercepting passes and quickly redistributing the ball to attacking teammates. Eze continued to impress in advanced midfield positions. With Martin Odegaard still recovering from injury, Eze's creativity could become increasingly important over the coming weeks. The final portion of the training session focused on tactical structure for the Everton match. Arteta walked the players through several attacking patterns designed to stretch Everton's defensive block. The emphasis was on quick ball circulation, overlapping runs from fullbacks, and coordinated pressing whenever possession was lost. By the time the session concluded, the players looked both physically refreshed and mentally focused. The draw against Leverkusen had not dampened Arsenal's belief. Instead, it seemed to have reinforced the squad's determination to keep pushing forward. The upcoming match against Everton may not carry the glamour of a Champions League night, but everyone inside the training ground understands how important it is. League points are just as valuable as European victories, and maintaining consistency across competitions is the hallmark of elite teams. As the players left the pitch and headed back toward the dressing rooms, Arteta remained behind for several minutes, speaking quietly with his assistants while reviewing notes from the session. The manager knows that the weeks ahead will define Arsenal's season. With the Champions League still wide open and domestic fixtures continuing to arrive rapidly, every training session, every tactical adjustment and every individual performance will matter. But judging by the focus and intensity shown during this preparation, Arsenal look ready for the challenge. Now the question shifts to match day. Can Arsenal convert their hard work on the training pitch into another important victory against Everton? Or will the physical challenge posed by Everton test the Gunners in ways that the Champions League draw did not? Let me know your prediction for the match in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this training ground update, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more Arsenal news, match previews and behind the scenes insights as the season continues.